Well, we have done the installation. Now the next step is to set up our environment, and that is done using GCloud init command. So it's checking the network connection, and now it's asking us to log in. So it's set up quite differently, and I actually like it about Google and Azure, that you don't just create keys and leave them somewhere on your machine that can be used by anybody. So let's see how does this do it. So this is the account that I'm using currently. So as I click on it, it's going to ask me the usual, do you agree? And we don't really have a choice but to agree. So you're now authorized, and this is even more amazing. What platform did you install the Google Cloud SDK? But yeah, so there we are. Now the first project that got created under Google Cloud, it didn't have this weird name. Okay, so the project, that name that's shown here, that is project name, my first project, but the project ID, which is a randomly created unique name, is single dash clock dash 261416. It doesn't have to be that. You can create your new project and give it whatever name you want. But let's take the single clock 26146. Okay, and now the project has been set to single clock 261416, which corresponds to the my first project. Now, do you want to set a default compute region on zone? So we do USCentral 1. So I guess it took me a little bit to find this information, but Google provides, this used to be more, I think they have reduced it in the last 4 months or so. So one F1 micro instance per month is free, but it's only available in region US West 1, US Central 1, and US East 1. 4 months ago, it was just US Central 1. So this is good news that you can use East 1, West 1, or Central 1, but I keep using the US Central 1 just because I have done it before. Oh, it's asking if I want to set a default region. Okay, now we want the code for US Central 1A, which will be 8. And we're using the zone, but based on that is going to set the region automatically. So if we want to see, basically it's saying your Google Cloud SDK is configured and ready to use. Okay, so let's try to create a new project. And this is a random name that it comes with, and when it used that, it also came up with a random name, which is compact something something. But we can use something that we want to use, and in this case the Killer Joe project name and the project ID are the same, and it's a better practice to follow, but you can have anything here. And of course, like you would see different things, like you're going to see Killer Joe project here. Actually, let's do it. Okay, so to find out which configuration you're working with right now, what you can do is say gcloud config list, and this is the configuration that currently exists. It's the default configuration, which it tells you at the very bottom. And part of the default configuration, your core is account Johnny Rebates, uses reporting false, and the project is single clock 261416, and these are the regions. Now if you want to create another configuration, if you're working with a different project, just like we had two different, I actually didn't show you guys, but you can have, you can use multiple usernames to set up multiple profiles in AWS as well. So let's do it here also. So once again, we're going to do GCloud init, and it's asking us this time, do you want to reinitialize the default setting or do you want to create a new one? So we're going to create a new one. And it's asking the configuration name. So as usual, Killer Joe. And now it's going to ask us, do you want to log into the same account or do you want to log into a different account? So I can use a completely different Google account uh, as a second setup configuration, but I'm just going to use our current one and use a different project. And here, that garbage project that I created a few minutes ago, that's showing here. In the console, it looks Killer Joe project, but the project ID shows up here, and that's why the project ID and project name should be same. And so once again, we're set. It didn't let me set the zone and region. So now we can check GCloud config, configurations, and list. So we have two profiles that are being set up and that we can use when you want to work with the single clock project. You would use the default profile. When you want to work with this project, you would use the Killer Joe profile. Alright, so the second project doesn't show a region for its set, so I'm going to set that with this command, gcloud config set. Then the second command that I'm going to use is to set the zone, and then we look at our configurations, and this is the configuration we have. Now GCloud SDK, I'm just showing you guys some commands because the total amount of commands that I use with this is not a whole lot, but it will take some time to explain all these commands, and I don't think I can do that. Well, I could do that, but I'm not going to do that.